Coffee Chat is in session. Joining me this morning is Heidi Giokos. Heidi, you have a complaint about me.
Yes.
What exactly
Why
is
aren't you singing? Sing Homeless for us, come on.
You know, we have a very talented man here. That's Jeffery Stevens. Jeffery Stevens, you want to help me along here.
Homeless, homeless.
This is a plot confession.
Oh my God, you made my morning.
Okay, guys, let's try and lift up what essentially yesterday was a part sad day, but also somewhat jubilant as the country remembered the release of our former president, Nelson Mandela, from prison. It marked 30 years. But the paper, I think, that possibly captures the mood of the country yesterday is the Mercury down in KZN. And the main headline there, in inverted commas, let's live up to Mandela's dream. And in the picture there, you have, in relation to that headline, the president, current president, Cyril Ramaphosa, standing next to a statue of the former president, the late Nelson Mandela. Then, on the other side, you have Joseph Shabalala with his hands spread out. Joseph Shabalala, August 28, 1941 to February 11th, 2020. What a day to go.
Exactly.
For this icon.
And I was just about to say, it's amazing that it happened on the day where Nelson Mandela was released, given the fact that Nelson Mandela, when he came out of prison, he said that Ladysmith Black Mambazo is the band. And he was saying how he once...
There was something that was said by the president. I'm not sure if he said something along... I'm trying to remember his exact lines, but it was something along the lines of he joins Madiba, he joins...
Yes, the spirit of Madiba.
The spirit of Madiba. Yes, there we go. There we go.
Yes.
I think that essentially captures it for me.
Most definitely. But what's interesting, I think, about this article in the Mercury speaks to how UDM, COPE and IFP were speaking about the state of the ANC at the moment and how... I mean, even that headline, let's live up to Mandela's dream.
What captures me most, Heidi, is the sub-headline to that. ANC accused of undermining legacy, replacing community spirit with, quote-unquote, me first attitude.
Exactly, and you actually see the UDM and the COPE being quoted in this article where they're saying this is why we left the ANC, because of this attitude of me first and not putting the people first and the party first, but rather the needs of specific individuals within the ANC. And this is something that has been brought to light for years now, where you're just seeing the needs of individuals being put first and not the actual issues of this country, the issues of the people in this country, the unemployment, the economic crisis that we're facing, the state of our SOEs, which of course have an impact on everybody. So I think this article is throwing shade on the side to say perhaps we need to relook at the legacy that Madiba wanted to put forward and not just the needs of individuals.
I think rightly so, Jeffery Stevens. I mean, is there any doubt that the current ANC has long betrayed Madiba's legacy?
Yes, to put a different spin on things, I think the Nelson Mandela generation and Joseph Shabalala generation might be the ones that in their passing over of qualities that one takes on board to decide which type of person you're going to become, maybe in certain respects that generation left a wonderful legacy, and the current generation looking at the future leaders and the current leaders, there's lots more to desire as far as the qualities that these absolute legends have showcased in their lifetimes. Yeah. And now we find the situation that we, comparatively speaking, are going, but this is what we are missing in our 2020 year. So how do we get that back?
Can I just put the cherry on top on this whole issue about the ANC undermining the legacy of the former president? This morning, we're going to have Carl Niehaus. He belongs to an organization that is supposed to be a recognized structure within the ANC, but my sense is that it's not yet. and that's the MKMVA. He's here to come and speak to us about the defense of the former president, who's accused of fraud and corruption. And they're not just calling on ANC members, but they're calling on the public at large to support the former president, who they believe is being vilified. So that's just me moving on from this subject.
Yeah, no, I think it's time we move on.
Let's have a look at the front page of the Business Day. Heidi, Labour puts brakes on its Eskom rescue plan, and the subheadline below that, disquiet grows among Labour on the implications of using pension money to pay the utilities debt.
And I think this was a complete shocker when it first came out, where Kusatu was indicating that perhaps 250 billion rand of the PIC's pension funds should be taken out to pay Eskom's debt. Eskom's debt remains a very big problem for government fiscus, for this country, given the fact that it's almost 500 billion rand that we're looking at here. And now there are other plans or proposals being put on the table to say perhaps we can try and solve the problem slightly by taking some of the pension fund. And this is a very big concern, given the fact that you're going to take that money out, but how are you going to put it back? And that's how it always works when it comes to investments, is if you're going to take something out, you need to find a way to make sure that it's put back in. And there's a big risk that that might not happen, given the state of Eskom, given how much debt we're actually looking at here, and what kind of plans are being put on the table to try and solve this problem. And this article specifically speaks to how the president is going to try and speak about the progress when it comes to the Eskom debacle in Sona, which is happening tomorrow. So
he had some big plans to announce on this issue of the pension funds, but now he's having to pull back because of the disquiet. And, you know, the one missing voice has been that of business, and I think I spotted in the studio somewhere here a gentleman called Jonathan Goldberg. He's the convener of business within NEDLAC, so we'll be speaking to him in this hour. Jeffrey Stevens, as we wrap up, take us through what's happening in the sports pages.
Yes, what caught my eye this morning, the Sports Day's headline, Steyn back among friends and primed. Referring to Dale Steyn making a comeback after being away from the national team for the past 11 months. He's now 36 years young. He'll be getting hopefully a starting berth in the first of 3 T20s against England in East London
today.
Where's
he been? What's he been doing, Dale Steyn?
He's been applying his trade in the short version of the game all around the world. He's just recently returned from Australia with the Big Bash, and he's done suitably well. So he has hopes of getting a spot at the upcoming T20 World Cup. Thereafter, this article refers to him. He'll sit back and look back on his career and decide on his immediate future. But let's hope that he can certainly inspire the younger players in the team in this particular series, and also leave a marker for the conveners of selectors to maybe pick him for the upcoming T20 World Cup.
Interesting times. Heidi, Giokos, thank you for coming through.
Sure.
Was my coffee nice?
It's
Jefferey
never
Stevens,
nice.
thank you very much.
Thank you for singing for me.
It's my pleasure. All right, still to come on The First Take. Labour lawyer